I'm doing a little bit of probably overdue maintenance on the Gravely walk behind here. I've got it up on some jack stands so I can flip this deck the whole way to the side, and I'm going to change the oil in the gearbox here. The rest of the oil in the machine seems pretty good, but I figured we'll do the gearbox oil first. And in case anyone wanted to see underneath this thing has not been used in a very long time. Very rusty, and there's really no grass to speak of. The spindle here looks a little wet, so I hope this thing isn't going to leak out everything that I just put in it. And of course there's that hole. Oh wow. Oh man, I'm going to have to cut out more of this thing. Jeez. Oh well, it can be fixed. So we're just going to pull the plug on this thing, and there's this plug on top. I know I'm looking at this thing from the wrong side, but there's this plug on top to fill it. And then there's this little teeny tiny plug right there to check it to make sure that that's where the oil is supposed to be. This right here is going to be the drain plug for today. So you fill here and you check here to make sure it's up to this level. And I'm going to probably overfill this thing just a little bit just because I can, and in case anything leaks out with use. So all I'm going to do here is just unscrew this one screw or square headed bolt underneath this thing and wait for the oil to drain out. This top bolt here was loose, and I was kind of a little bit bummed out about that. That's not a good sign, but you know, already the first bolt that I put the wrench on is loose. Oh, is that thick oil? Oh my gosh. Wow. So my guess is that it's creating a vacuum in here. So we're going to loosen this thing up. Oh man, not much coming out. Wow, is that it? Oh man. See, this is what I'm talking about. I said this in the brush hog video, where the stump jumper was loose. Same thing here. Very little bit of oil came out of this, and I'm gonna have to shove. I could probably put a nail up through this to make sure it's not clogged, but it's very slowly draining. So my guess is that all of the oil has drained out of this gearbox, and there's might be a seal that's bad in the bottom of it. So, but the oil that's coming out of it, it smells really bad. Like it's been very well used, and boy is it thick. Oh. So that much oil came out of this thing. See, this is why you check things. This is always why you check things. I need to go over this brush hog before we use it. So I found a little nail here. This is a roofing nail. I think it's aluminum. And I'm just gonna shove up in this hole here. Where is it? Right there. Yeah, she's pretty bone dry. Not much oil in there, which is kind of a bummer, but I guess it is what it is. Fortunately, you guys can see this here. It's not real milky, so I guess no water's gotten in, so that's a good sign. So it looks like that's all the oil that's going to come out of this thing, a little puddle about that big. And I'm just going to put the plugs here into the drain cap here, or this magnetic parts holder. And then I'm going to just flip this flat again, and then take this thing off the jack stands. I was hoping there was going to be more oil that was going to come out of this thing. It's just ever so slowly dripping out. I don't know, maybe I'll leave it. But it's just, there is not much oil in there, that's for sure. Since there wasn't any oil in the gearbox of this machine, I'm going to put in some, now this is not Lucas. It has remnants of Lucas in it, but this is just gear oil in here. I love the Lucas tops and the tips that they have on here. It's a nice pointed tip. But what I wanted to put in this, I swear by this stuff, I think it's a great thing to keep antique stuff like this from leaking everywhere, because the seals are all bad. It's made by the company ATP Automotive, and it's AT205 reseal. And we run this in the backhoe. We have it in the 8N. We have it in the transmission of the backhoe. I think we even put a little bit of this in the Cub. And it seems to have fixed everything that we have had problems with. So I'm going to put a little bit of this in, and it's like this bottle treats 6 quarts of oil. So I'm going to put in just a splash or two in this thing, because I don't really know how much this gearbox is. So I'll just put some of this in first. And this stuff is actually heavier than oil. That's plenty. And it will actually sink to the bottom and recondition all the seals in it. And this stuff, I swear, it works. I have no affiliation with this company. It's just, it is that great of a product. And I really, really like it an awful lot. And it's a little expensive. It's not that bad. So let's put some of this. This is just Napa brand. It's like 80-90 gear oil. And then we're going to fill it up till it reaches this bottom hole here. And actually, since this gearbox probably has leaked a lot of its fluid out, I'm going to go a little bit further than that. Further than what I need to. So hopefully everyone can see a little bit better now. But yeah, we're filling it up to this hole here. And they say with this AT205 stuff, they say to run it for like 5 hours or something, so that it really mixes itself up and goes into everywhere where it should. Look at that, I don't even have to use a funnel with this stuff. So there is the oil dripping out, which that didn't take much at all. And I'm just going to screw this cap in and put another heavy dose or two of the gear oil in here. And it was filled to about up to here. And if I had to guess, we're down to right there. So really, this gearbox doesn't take that much oil, much at all. And I'm just going to put another good squirt or two in here. I don't think it's going to hurt anything. So I'm probably overfilling this thing a little bit, but it might be leaking it out as fast as I'm putting it back in. So, but they say to run that AT205 for a couple of hours, and I'm probably not going to do that. Okay, now we got, oh yeah, we got plenty of gear oil in there now. So I am satisfied with that, and that took That took almost this whole thing. There's... How much is in here now? Right where my finger is. So, almost this entire quart thing filled this up. And I probably put some oil back into here also, which I don't think that'll hurt anything. So now I'm going to screw the fill cap in, and I'm also going to screw in the check plug. So I know we'll have plenty of oil in this thing now. I'm just going to tighten this thing up. Those of you that are into tractors will know that this is basically just like a gearbox on a brush hog is. Pretty much the same thing. And if anybody knows if this is supposed to be like a vent or something, because this was loose whenever I first turned it. So that's tight, and that's tight. So that's pretty much it for changing the oil on the gearbox. You know, this is my first time doing this, and I don't claim to be a professional at this, so this is just what I'm doing. And if you guys have Gravely's and stuff on your own and you know more about this, post it down in the comments below. I'd love to read your comment, so I'll try to get back to you. But there you go. There's the Gravely with some fresh gear oil in the gearbox, and I'm probably going to go run this thing now, and we will go from there. So, hope everyone enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more, and hopefully I will see you all in the next video. The gearbox was pretty noisy before, like there wasn't any oil in it, and it does not surprise me. So, time to go run this thing. So let's fire this thing up. So here I'm just trying to get this Gravely going again. I'm trying to put the... I'm trying to turn the mower deck on. We are apparently missing the lever up at the, where the operator, the two handles are, where the operator would stand. We're missing the handle for that to turn the deck on and off without having to go down there. And apparently we have to have the clutches disengaged in this thing for the rotaries to be turned on, and I didn't know that at this time. I'm talking to some people on YouTube about it, which is they know a lot more about this than I do. So I'm just trying to get as much information from them as possible about this Gravely L8, and I think it's either a 66 or a 67, something like that. On the front of this thing, there's that lever that I turn to turn the deck on, and it grinds going into gear, and I don't even want to put it into gear, to engage the deck because it grinds so much. So I just have to have the clutches disengage, and hopefully that will fix that. The previous guy just told us to, when we want to mow with this thing, or we want to turn the PTO on, shut it off, go over there, flip the lever, and then hit the electric start, and it'll come alive, which that would put more strain on the electric start, therefore making it it's not going to last that long. So, I don't really want to do that. I want to be able to start the deck when the motor is running and everything. So, another guy on YouTube said to adjust the carburetor a little bit more so the engine will idle down more. He said you have to have it at an idle with the clutches in it disengaged, so it's not spinning anything. And of course, here I'm just looking underneath and see if I see the blade spinning. And I think at this point they finally were. You know, again, this is a brand new machine to me, and I'm not used to it, which is going to take some time to getting used to running this thing, which is fine. I gave it a good workout yesterday. I was doing some light brush hogging with it, just cutting down some small saplings and whatnot, just trying to keep the place maintained and make it look nice. And I've got to say, this machine really is perfect for doing what we want to do. The only thing I wish it had was steering brakes. But I ran this brush hog for probably 3 or 4 hours yesterday and gave it a real good workout. And I don't think any of the oil leaked out of it, probably because of that AT205 reseal stuff that I put in. I always keep a bottle or two of that on hand, which really seems to help out whenever we need it, because, you know, I don't know what else I'm going to be putting it in. So no leaks so far. Oh, and that top cap is actually a breather and a vent. Whenever I had filled it up, of course I had overfilled it, probably quite a bit, and I probably put 2 or 3 times the amount that's supposed to be in it, but, you know, again, I'm not familiar with this thing at all. And I'd rather have a little bit too much oil than not enough, because it's, you know, everything could self-destruct if you don't have enough. The worst that would go wrong if you overfilled it was a seal or something go out. Oil will leak out of the top plug if overfilled.